I know I acting stupid, but being dumb, maybe just a little bit foolish. I feel so young. Drunk, I've never seen you clearer than now. We're flying high, floating somewhere up in the clouds. Going out of ourselves, can you feel it? Almost like I don't know if it's real. Cause when we're doing our thing, we're like wheels that won't stop turning. So take me on a trip,
Hi and cheers! This video is the third update, my fishing update for the 9th of July. Today it is the 10th of July, and yesterday in the morning I went out again, and I wish to share with you, as we did previously, my fishing experience and my fishing update. So this video is specifically prepared for Ashraf, Ahmed, Chanwei and Jacopo, and this is going to go to YouTube just for you, for your ease of seeing it, of watching it, but it's not a video that I will share with others. It's also a way for me to get more a better habit taking videos and making recordings. You may notice that I have now a professional microphone in front of me, and this should improve definitely the quality of the audio recordings. So, well, first of all, cheers again. I will put the glass away so I can definitely be a little bit more focused on what I have to say. What is a weekend without a nice champagne? I don't know. These are the positive aspects of the lockdown. So my update regarding yesterday concerns three aspects again. The first aspect is related to the weather and the sea condition. I already told you in the previous update that I am tracking and trying to understand in advance what will be the actual weather conditions in order to choose whether to go out or not. Sometimes this exercise has been very useful. Recently, when I went out with Chanwei, I could foresee already that the conditions were not appropriate. And eventually they were not. We were not happy by the conditions of the waves and the shaking in the boat. I mean, why is this an important point? Clearly, you like to go out to the open sea when the weather is great, when the sea is calm, there are no waves, you can even see the fish. The weather is very hot now, so in most cases you will not see the fish at the surface because the surface is really very hot, and fish and people at the same time, they don't like to be in such hot water. But the worst thing is to be on a boat which is rocking and rolling, making it difficult for you to actually cast and retrieve, and you don't have the focus on fishing because you have to grasp handles to stay, to stay on the boat without falling on the floor or without even falling out of the boat. So, well, that was my experience yesterday. Despite I checked the weather, and the weather was clearly on the positive side. It was not perfect. The waves were small, 30 centimeters. The energy of the waves was very small, so I didn't expect ample waves rocking and rolling the boat, and the wind were not so intense. They were around 7 to 10 knots, and finally they were indeed between 3 and 8, so not so strong winds. However, in the open sea it's a different story. It's not like the conditions you find close to the shore, and most of these forecasts are prepared and made by weather stations which are onshore. A few actually also out in the deep sea, but I'm usually checking the conditions at n.03 marina, where I'm leaving from, the Emirates Palace. But then I go out like 25 miles or 30 miles and the conditions are different there from where I actually checked. And there is no way to check the conditions there. Indeed, you can, with a forecast app, have an interpolation of the conditions between two different stations. But I never do that. I generally check the weather at the marina, and I notice it's not necessarily the weather out there. But yesterday I didn't have a lot of time because there was an important commitment for work, so I had to go back earlier, and I decided not to go to the open sea. I would tell you this, that would be the second point. But the first point regarding the weather, again, a surprise for me yesterday. It was not as I was expecting, despite little waves, little energy, and relatively little wind. The conditions on the boat were limit. The boat was rocking so much I could not stand on the boat. There were moments in which I was really thinking, all right, I need to grab a handle because otherwise I will fall out of the boat. And sometimes I was standing in the middle because the boat is rocking and rolling, but the point which is moving less, it's at the center of the boat normally. So I was standing at the center and I was actually looking at the boat doing like this. I was really a bit surprised. But the good thing, and this is the end of the first point I want to update you, I was not boat sick, which may mean two things. One thing is I am getting used to the weather, to the shaking on the boat. It's maybe not the case, but if it is the case, I'm happy that this is happening because it's important to be somehow more used to go out in the sea and not to suffer so much every time I go out. And I have to consider that the conditions here are rarely optimal. In most cases, the conditions are like I saw them yesterday. There are waves, there is some movement of water, and the boat is shaking. And it's very rare, it's really a miracle that the weather is beautiful and there are no waves. This is the first point. The second point, maybe, not only I am getting used to it, but maybe the energy and the amplitude of the waves was such to limit the effect on the body yesterday. So it's not that I am getting so much used, that maybe it was the case that the waves were relatively less than when I feel boat sick. I also want to add regarding weather conditions. Recently with Chen Wei, we went out and she felt the movement of the waves much more than I did. And I think there is a sort of getting used, an effect like getting used to the movements on the boat. And previously, I remember I would come back and I would keep feeling the movements during the day. Like I was washing the dishes and I was shaking like this, or feeling like I was shaking. No, I was not drunk. Just you keep feeling the movement for some hours. In the beginning, even for one day after you come back on shore. And I read about it. It's normal. It's a normal phenomenon. It happens to everybody. But I am noticing that this is shorter now, so I'm getting somehow more used to that. Point number 2, the main point, fishing activity. Yesterday it was not a positive day in terms of forecasts for fishing activity. Despite that, I managed to catch 3 small fish, so small that I released all of them. Actually 4 small. I caught 2 hamur and 2 shari on the same bait again. These shari, they adore that bait. Clearly, they jump on it. And Jacopo suggested that maybe there are some hormones, some smells. I don't think so, because that is a low-cost bait. I think it's a question of color and a question of size, because the shari I'm catching with that bait are normally this size, like 20 centimeters, not very big. Not a big activity, but enough, let's say, for the small fish to catch a hamur not bad, like 30 centimeters, and a little sherry, around 20 centimeters, 2 small fish that I cooked last night and I ate them, which is great. I'm happy with that. I don't need more than that in terms of eating. Well, I need much less than that. If I catch more, I am happy to share. I bring things to the concierge guys, to Salahuddin, to Sharif. I like to give some fish to Spencer as well, or to give fish, as Chenwei did, to the guys of the marina, which is a very good thing. I like that. It's a sort of sharing, and other people did it to me in the past, to us in the past, and I feel really very grateful that this happened, and I want to make it happen too. But from my point of view, I don't need big fish for me. What do I do with a 10-kilo hamur? Yeah, maybe I will fillet it.Maybe I will make nice steaks for myself. But most probably what I would do is I will share it. When I caught the big 2-kilo hamur, I ate half, and half I give it to Spencer. So from a certain point of view, I am not at all disappointed that I catch small fish. But I also have to record that despite my efforts, I could not catch the big fish again. And I counted the number of bites, more than bites, the number of fish on I had, and I had 11 fish, big fish, on the hook. So 11 times it happened to me that a big fish hooked on my lure, and these fish are huge. I don't know what's happening there. Really, at some point I thought, isn't it that I am just hooking the surface, the bottom somewhere? Because I cannot understand what's going on. The fish are so powerful, those fish, that they pull the line straight out. In the beginning there is a big bit of movement, but then it's just going away. And what I learned from the previous experiences with my smaller reel, the one I bought in Australia, is I should not turn the drag on immediately too much, because this just breaks the setup. Either the leader breaks or the swivel breaks, or I get the fish unhooked. So what I'm doing now that I have a much bigger reel, you remember the new Shimano reel I bought by Jighead in Dubai. This is a huge reel which is indicated for very big fish and for serious use, almost professional use. It has a drag of 12 kilograms, which means it's more than 3 times the drag I had with the previous reel. So what I'm doing is I am giving a little bit of drag, not much, in order for the fish to get tired, and wait. I just keep the rod in a way to provide additional effort for the fish, waiting for the moment at which the fish will stop, and I will start reel it back. And when you have a big fish, from what I learned from YouTube, I learned that the movement is not that you are holding the rod and just reeling. The actual pulling back the fish happens with the rod. So you pull back the rod and then you release it, and at that time, simultaneously, you reel in. So you pull back and the line is completely under tension, and then you release it and reel in. And the final result is that little by little, you are reeling back. Like one turn of a reel is, in my new setup, is 30 centimeters. So 30 centimeters by 30 centimeters, you reel it back. And I have a new line, which is a very strong, powerful line. It's more than 50 kilograms line. So, it's a line which should, and indeed the line didn't break, ever. Over 11 of these cases, I caught 0, and I broke almost none. I broke 2 indeed. I did break 2, but honestly, I broke 2 at the very last minute, because the result is I just give a bit of drag, and I wait the fish to become tired, and he never became tired. He never became tired. And the result is, at some point, I'm starting to give more drag, or I'm starting to push the reel in a way to add additional drag, but the idea is the same. You give it with a handle, or you give it with your hand. It's the same thing. You are creating an additional tension, an additional strength inside the system, to the line, to the swivel, to the leader, to the hook, and at some point something breaks. And until now, I'm very happy. My new setup is strong enough, so what happens is nothing breaks, just the hook gets removed. So at the very end, after 10 minutes, 15 minutes waiting time, and in a couple of cases when all the line was out, 300 meters were gone, I understood that at that moment the option was I will lose everything because it will come to an end and it will break. So what can I do? I put all the drag, which means the line is there at the maximum tension and it has the maximum strength on it, and something breaks. In 9 cases out of 11, the lure got unhooked, so I reeled it back, nothing broke, and in 2 cases only it did even break. And it's a pity because I lost 2 lures, but you know, in the past that was the normal situation. I would lose the I would lose the lure, I would lose the leader and everything, maybe a part of the line as well. But I'm still puzzled, and I still need to understand why I cannot reel in these, I think, enormous or very massive or very powerful fish, which don't allow me to reel in. It's not possible. The drag is either so much that it breaks somewhere, or it's not enough to reel back. Even I cannot pull back my rod. That is, I pull back the rod, nothing happens. It bends even more. So and this is the last consideration for this second point, my feeling is that these big fish I am hooking, these must be powerful fish like cobia or shark or giant trevally. I mean, something which is huge. I just watched yesterday a video in which a guy, he is pulling back from rocks on the beach, from rocks, he's pulling back to tuna of more than 70 kilograms, which is amazing. I don't think these fish are 70 kilograms, but I really wonder why somebody can, with a rod from the rocks, pull up a 70 kilograms fish, and I'm not able to pull back these. They are powerful. Something is going on there. I don't know what, but there is some improvement. Maybe on the technique. Maybe I need just to improve, you know, my way of pulling back the fish. This is the main difference from an unexperienced angler and somebody who can actually fish. The third point, and this is just a quick update, relates to the position. So yesterday, as I didn't have enough time, what I did is that I didn't go out to the paradise of fish. The paradise of fish is a place where there is a reef at 7 meters, 7 to 10 meters, with rocks and most probably weeds. And this is an area where, honestly, every time I go there, there is fish. When I went out with Chen Wei last week, the first 4, we cast, not even cast, we jig 4 times, and they had 4 fish on. 4 times, 4 fish on. You can imagine how great experience that is. But this time I didn't go. It takes more than half an hour, 30-35 minutes to go there and to come back. And if the weather is bad, you are wasting more than 1 hour. So I stayed this time closer. And there is a similar reef before the channel, not after the channel as I'm going. before the channel. So I stayed there and I thought, let me explore here. The winds were not negligible yesterday, so the boat was shaking, as I said, but moving also a lot. And when I'm out alone, I don't like to throw the anchor. I don't anchor. I just drift, just because it's easier. You know, I drift and there are already so many things I have to do by myself. I don't want to anchor and then check the anchor, check if the anchor is keeping or not, and then modify the anchoring, throw the second anchor. What I do, I just normally drift, and after maybe half an hour or 20 minutes I'm casting, I check on the GPS what's the trajectory of the boat, which direction we took. And I just drive the boat back. So I relax, I drink something, and I go back to where I want to go. And yesterday, surprisingly, the waves or the wind were not pushing me towards Abu Dhabi, but they're pushing me towards the open sea. Which means that as the reef is a sort of rectangle, but it's a rectangle parallel to the shore, this means that I was going in the bad direction, and I had just a little time to cast and fish. So I went back several times, but I have to say the experience was very positive. These reefs, these submarine mountains, they seem to be a very good place to catch fish. Even in very unreliable or negative fishing conditions like it was yesterday. Because yesterday, funnily, on the application for the fish, normally there is an indicator like 1 fish or 2 fish or 3 fish. Well, yesterday the indicator was just a fish bone, a dead fish, so really not a good day to go out fishing. Nevertheless, my conclusion is, once again, despite the limited time I had yesterday, I really had a very good experience. I was not boat sick. I came back with enough food for my dinner, which I, by the way, enjoyed very much. And there is still this problem to solve. There is something wrong with these very big fish, and it's quite interesting because I'm puzzled and I really would like to understand what is going on. All right, that's all. This is my update for the 9th of July, and I wish all of you are safe. At this time, Ahmed is still far in Malaysia. Ashraf is very busy. Tomorrow his family is going to leave, so I wish well, and I wish all of them a good return back to Italy. And Chenwei, right now she is working, and she is maybe not coming to meet me next week. So this is a way to keep in touch. And regarding Jacopo, the fourth recipient of this video, he is now fishing. So what a good opportunity to share experiences. And I have to say that he introduced me, and I will never forget the beautiful experiences we had in Australia. Really unforgettable. He is currently fishing in Florida, and he had very beautiful fishing experience with 30 fish that he caught the other day. So I really still have to learn a lot from him and the great experience he has, and I wish in the future the four of us and Chenwei, we can be better anglers and learn from Jacopo and the others how to do better fishing and to enjoy. In the end, it's not so important how big, how many. It's so nice to be outside. And in these days, for me, since they reopened the marine activities, this has been the only thing I'm doing. Apart from spending money in the fish tackle shops. Apart from that, this is the only thing I've been doing, and I have to say it's quite amazing. I really enjoy it. So thanks to Jacopo for introducing me to this, and my best wishes to all of you, and I wish we can meet very soon and share all this together by real and not only by a YouTube video. All right? So, well, I think the best way to cheer and to say bye-bye is again to have another glass of champagne and enjoy your weekend, and see you soon.